Let's talk about appraisals. Let's dig into this one a little bit more. By definition, appraisals are just an expert estimate of value. When you take out a loan to purchase a home, the lender wants to make sure that home is worth the value of the loan. So they send out an appraiser to walk the home, assess the condition, then the appraiser takes that information, looks at the past sold properties in the area that are like the home that you're trying to purchase. They take all that information and they develop a value for the home and submit that to the lender. The lender will not issue a loan higher than the appraisal amount. So when does this happen? If your contract includes an inspection contingency, the lender is going to wait till that inspection contingency is fulfilled. All parties are agreed, everything's great, and everybody's plugging along and continuing the sale. Reason they do that is the appraisal costs you, the buyer, money. No point in spending that money if everybody decides to walk away after the inspection. So, what happens if the appraisal amount comes in less than the loan amount and you don't have enough cash on hand to cover the difference? Well, a couple different scenarios. First scenario is approaching the owner and asking them for a compromise. Maybe all parties can compromise on a new price to make it so that the buyer can then get the loan for the property. If that doesn't work out, another option is to talk to the lender and ask if there's any other loan programs that can be utilized by the buyer to bridge that gap between the appraisal and the loan amount. Sometimes lenders can shift around the down payment and create a little bit more liquid cash for a buyer to cover that difference in appraisal. Lastly, we can appeal the appraisal. Your agent, me, can go ahead and put together some new data points about other past solds that are in the market to show the appraiser that they might have gotten the value wrong. This doesn't always work, but it's always worth a try. The lender can also sometimes, not always, but sometimes issue another appraisal to see if a new value is more in line with the loan amount. Again, that appraisal comes to a cost of the buyer. If you have a financing contingency or an appraisal addendum in your offer, you are covered with this low appraisal. If things do not come together, you can walk away with the sale with your earnest money in hand. If you don't have either the financing contingency or the appraisal addendum, and you can't make up the difference, then the sale will be terminated and you will lose your earnest money. A lot of information, I know. Also, one other tidbit for this competitive market, what are people doing about appraisals? Well, some people are waiving their appraisals. That is one option you can do. If the appraisal comes in low, you then are on the hook to go ahead and bridge the gap between the low appraisal and the loan amount. Again, if you can't do that, you walk away, you lose your earnest money. Another option is just keeping the financing contingency as is. Obviously, maybe not as competitive as others in the market, but that will protect you if the appraisal comes in low and no compromises can be made. You can then walk away from the sale and keep your earnest money deposit. Another option is money towards an appraisal. So you can put in an addendum into the offer saying, I will pay so much money towards a low appraisal. And if that is too much, then I will go ahead and walk away and keep my earnest money. So as an example, if the appraisal comes back about $30,000 difference, you're purchasing a house with a loan hopefully at $500, but the appraisal comes in at $470, you can put an addendum and say, I will pay up to $10,000 of the difference between the appraised amount and the loan amount. If it exceeds that, then I can walk away from this sale and keep my earnest money deposit. So again, 3 options you can choose from when putting in an offer for a home when it comes to appraisal. You just keep the financing contingency intact and then have yourself protected if a low appraisal comes through. You can put in that gap amount where you say, okay, I'll cover the appraisal up to this amount. After that, I can keep my earnest money. Or you can waive the appraisal altogether and take that risk, but make yourself more competitive in this market.